and welcome to another episode of the Good Time Podcast. And you'll notice, well, you notice a lot of things. Firstly, Julian Bracey Davis is dressed like a schoolboy.
No, this is what I wear in the office. This is how I dress. So, I'm a businessman, Quaz.
Right. So that's one thing you'll notice.
It's a lot of lies already.
And secondly, we've got a lot of guests with us here. It's 3 guests.
I didn't think you could get that many people onto your camera.
Exactly, but they're all in the wide shot, which is good. So we've got to my right
Ryan Gosling.
Oh, and you might have noticed that we've got Ryan Gosling on the show.
Just casual A-listers. So we've got on.
Yeah, making an appearance for us, which is great.
Big fan.
But the theme today is technology and occupation.
But
so
not sort of, just clarify, definitely not invading countries.
Not military.
Because that involves a lot of country technology.
Not military.
Just rolling through hills, mainly Belgium. Another low-lying European countries. But it's not about that, because if it was, we'd have a board and show you how to do arrows.
Which it's not. So we're talking about, obviously, the employment side of occupation and...
Your occupation.
Other
people's occupations.
Our occupations that we have. So we'll be going...
You could have come up with a better word.
Yeah,
I'll take the hill.
Yeah, I know, yeah. You're fine.
I keep saying that and I keep coming back.
So that's what we'll be talking about, viewers. And yes, I'll let the guests introduce themselves. We all share a common theme, that we all went to school together in Swansea. Woo. And there you go. So we all knew each other from back in the day. Yeah. And that's where it is. So
good times. Well said, Luke.
Well played. So
that's it.
I'll start all the way from the left. We've got Luke Rees here.
Hello there.
Business owner.
His occupation.
I'll take that.
Yep.
Luke's occupation is making money for the country.
Exactly. He is.
You're putting stuff back in, or we're just taking.
He is a business owner. He owns a deli called the Tai Chi.
Tell us about it, Luke. Tell us.
Chai Deli Tea. It's been open about 18 months.
Where is it?
It's in Mumbles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a big influx for the tourist industry. It's fantastic.
There you go. And I've eaten there and can confess that it's amazing.
What's the best nibble right now?
Oh, taps is definitely going well.
Oh, everyone loves a bit of
classic.
chorizo.
Everyone loves fingering
food.
They
do.
Don't they?
Simple. Anything to go with a beer, really.
Best-selling tea?
Ooh. Probably actually just your
Classic English breakfast.
Classical English breakfast. Very well.
Boring.
None of this foreign.
What do you want? Earl Grey?
How good is your tea shop?
True. I don't know. I don't even have one.
I forgot you started importing tea.
Hey.
He's always been a big tea bagger.
Obviously, we've got Mr. Julian Bracey Davis, who you know, myself, Oliver Houston, legend extraordinaire. We'll clap him in. He's come all the way from Hong Kong
You come from
just for this podcast.
Fly out in 3 hours. Flew in 2 hours ago.
What we're talking about?
No luggage, surprisingly though. Nothing.
This is how we roll.
And we mentioned, people remember Ol's names, we talked about him before, and what a great guy. But you'll know that Ol's here freely. He can travel anywhere in the world. He has no sort of restrictions.
No visa restrictions.
We may have
passports.
We may have linked him to what's
Edward
his name?
Snowden.
Edward
You
Snowden.
did. I wasn't happy about that.
No, but
He's not him.
Sorry,
What
what?
does he know him? So don't
You're
try
free,
Didn't
and
meet
he's
him.
not.
Didn't see many bars.
Which is strange, because I would have thought he would have been in Hong Kong, to be
Yeah.
fair. And furthest to the right, we've got Ryan Gosling, otherwise known as Johan Thomas. And
Gosling.
Gosling, yeah, all right.
And people, dedicated listeners and viewers, will remember that we had his sister on, Lauren Thomas, on our
That was a
our lovely
Yeah,
love episode that was quite ruckus.
Wow.
This one may get as ruckus, but we don't know. Hopefully there'll be less swearing.
I'll try my best.
Exactly. So you might have noticed that he looks a lot like Ryan Gosling. So he'll be sitting in the corner looking broody, and he won't say a lot. So
That's it.
And we might get some cereal later.
yeah. So that's it. That's it, viewers. You've now got the ensemble.
I know.
And we're going to proceed to talk our way
Ensemble.
through tech and occupation.
There are so many slipped words. You just let them go.
Ensemble.
We got nothing.
Exactly. We're going to go. We'll go
Just roll with it.
Right. Yeah. So we're going to go through some occupation and tech. So stick around, viewers.
It looks like it's raining a lot.
Right, so we've we've also noticed
Just
here
never stop playing.
that rain is coming, so this could be the first podcast that's started outdoors and finished indoors. We're always about firsts on
Yeah.
the Good Time Podcast.
We're very flexible.
We're very flexible. We can move this stuff in a second. But while it doesn't thunderstorm, we're going to talk about occupation and tech. So, I think the first, we'll break it down to two parts. You know, the tech you use now to find a new job, which is, you know, your LinkedIn's, your monsters and stuff like that, and the tech that kind of
You can tweet a job.
Yep, and the tech that impacts the job that you do. So, and so that's what we're going to break into.
Be you a professional like me or a business owner like Luke.
Exactly. Everyone
Or,
used a bit of
just
Complete leech on society.
and an A-list movie star. So that's what we're talking about. I think we'll start off at the place that everyone knows now, the other Facebook, that is LinkedIn.
for professionals.
For professionals. Now, I mean,
Poking professional.
I mean, the problem with LinkedIn is...
Whoa. Why start off a negative? My profile
No.
is beautiful.
Actually, let's talk. I mean, everything was different before LinkedIn when it came to finding jobs. LinkedIn is now a very powerful tool.
It was just all about having a CV, wasn't it? Paper CV. Some of us would have your name and exclamation mark at the top.
Exactly.
Julie Davis.
Some of us, yeah. Would you put an exclamation mark at the end of your name on a CV?
It grabs attention.
Would 99% of the population put an exclamation mark? No.
But all it
The other
takes-
0.9 aren't looking for a job. The other 0.1 is Julian Bracey Davis.
And he actually came to me for advice when he wrote that first CV. And we looked at it and we were like, why is there an exclamation mark?
There were two
after
things.
your name?
Technically, two things we noticed. One, the exclamation mark, and two, the fact that his CV, my CV, and my two older brother's CVs have strangely similar formats.
Yeah, so if you ever
Almost
employ
as if they were
job-
plagiarised. So if you ever
You changed the name though, yeah?
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes. Like, of course, Ian Coma going for a job at certain places, it looks better if Julian Bracey Davis goes
It was.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's better now because I don't have to worry about that because LinkedIn sorts out how my name appears.
That's
so,
true,
You know,
it's
I
true.
moved everything online.
But
It is going to rain.
This is rained off.
We're getting
Some
the
raindrops
map's getting
falling on our
rained
heads.
on, so we're gonna have to stop playing, and we'll pick this up indoors. So
I'm probably going to take some of the blame here. I was about 2.5 hours late.
Yeah, so-
my flight was delayed. So.
exactly, the man from Hong Kong
Damn it, Snowden.
Yeah.
couldn't
Ed
get
was,
his time
Ed was on my
right.
flight. It took a bit of a. He wasn't.
So
He really wasn't.
see you inside, viewers.
I think back to my days in school. Now I see I was such a fool. Yellow is just another shade.
This isn't gonna make a shot.
Look, if you could just shuffles, yeah, a bit closer closer to the right. That actually looks pretty cool, to be fair. So, no, not that.
My balls are just ridiculously sweaty.
Yeah, it's great.
Excellent.
It's cool.
That's definitely not going.
That's
Okay, we're talking about right, so after a quick costume change and a hat, we're back indoors. We magically transform. So that's where we are now.
Very warm.
It's a bit warm in here, so if you see us
Boiling in here.
sweating, it's not because we're nervous. It's just
Or
because
really
it's
overly comfortable.
I am
yeah. Gosling's nervous over there, but just overly warm in here.
We can plug our new show soon. Ryan Gosling reacts to a lemon.
Exactly.
We'll be tweeting about that.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. It's going to be a
It will
blockbuster.
be.
But where were we? Right,
Unemployed.
unemployed. Just talking
Looking for
about
a job.
how people look for jobs these days using technology. One service I think that I've used many a times because I've had many a job
You have so many jobs.
is
The most qualified man. Stop it. I'm in work for a recruitment agency, but this man just moves job every 12 to 13 months.
But for legal reasons, you're quite content where you are.
Exactly, yeah.
Rumour has it you're going to see it out for a while.
That's the exactly.
For life, I think he said.
Life,
It depends how long you live.
yeah. But so the one I use is Monster. Monster's a great service. You put your CV on there, a lot of jobs. Do
you work for Monster though? Yeah.
No, I don't work for them. I just
Sounds
think...
like it works.
Monster works for you. Yeah.
Monster works for you,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. So they're a very good service, which I like to use.
You'll be having to do this soon.
I will.
Yeah, you're still. What are you doing?
I'm studying, and I'm gonna try and keep studying for as long as possible.
Yeah.
Just you guys can just pay for me.
To be honest, we can't all work. We can't all
work.
I get tired.
It's true. So that's a really good service.
LinkedIn.
I think it's all about LinkedIn, really. What about? So we've got.
Do you not find Monster's got there's too much on there? There's a lot to sift through.
There is a lot to sift through. There's a lot of noise as well because one thing about Monster is it goes through recruiters, and I'm not saying
They're
that I hate
society,
but they provide a service, but sometimes it's a bit much
how much of the cake are they going to eat?
Exactly, but it's very interesting how people go along, and obviously one thing that's been coming into sort of focus lately is online CVs.
Yeah.
So people writing their CVs entirely online and doing.
Who wants to leave a paper trail when it comes to moving jobs?
It's right, exactly. You're gonna have to leave a paper trail anyway, so you might as well do it online. But that's something that seems to be happening a lot. And I don't know, like how do you find? How do you guys look for jobs? Obviously, you not Johan because you're.
I actually have a job.
Yeah.
I mean,
did you find out on Monster?
I got an email from the university. They send out notifications every so often. I still get them now, even if I've got a job. So it's pretty useful. That's pretty handy. I obviously battered the interview, and I got a job.
There you go.
Yeah. What you meant is battered the interviewer. Physical intimidation will often get you a job.
I sat down and said, "There's no point doing this. Just give me a job now."
When you were in Drive that time.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got great credentials.
Was your interview? Did they ask you to do the elevator thing? So you got 30 seconds, and you just stepped.
But I forgot the jacket. So that's the only thing.
Yeah. So there we go.
Luke, how do you find people?
Good question, Jules.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's very much a student trade. So I mean, I do
just find
get
students.
emails. Yeah,
because they're easy to employ.
But at the moment they're all looking for jobs. I mean, summer jobs especially, and then it's trying to sift through the ones who are there to stay.
Okay.
This is interesting. From like a employer's point of view, do you know when you like see someone who's blatantly lying on you?
Oh, it's very
not
obvious.
lying on you.
I mean,
that's another way to get a job.
That's a different industry.
Yeah,
but if it gets you through the door. But linking back to the sort of saying about all this online stuff, and you talk to anyone who does look for people to get jobs.
Yeah.
The embellishment of people's online is more than what they write down on a CV.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So you sift through character. Then I mean, you're very much it's your own perspective. So you've got to trust your instincts half the time. I mean, you can have a CV the length of your arm, but if the person isn't going to fit what you think the area, it's not going to work.
No.
I think it's very much it's definitely down to character judging.
I think that's the interesting where recruitment. So I work for a recruitment agency, and it's been said for a long time that recruitment agencies are going to die out because of all things like LinkedIn. Fantastic. Things like LinkedIn.
Of course, he's wiping the sweat off his face.
With my towel.
It really is. Really is.
It's not my head towel.
But the one thing which recruitment agencies do still have is the human contact. So you've got a guy sitting there speaking to the client, speaking to the candidates, and then mixing and matching the two together based on personality. So can you replace the technology side of it or the human side of it completely?
Let's hope not.
I think it's a good way to slow people down initially.
Yeah.
I think that's right. I think it's
take from the personality.
And actually, that's a very good point. So obviously, with the large volume, so things like graduate schemes now for some of the big companies, a lot of automation. So like a lot of these, forms that the students go on and fill, and these are actually not the initial tranche isn't judged by a human. They go through automate and they look for
spelling errors, grammar mistakes,
psychometric testing,
and things like that. And it's just a lot of that is automatic. So, I mean, maybe the first third of people are actually eliminated completely by robots, which is quite interesting.
Eliminated by robots.
Mm-hmm.
You heard it here first.
T5. Could you start alongside Arnie? I think you could. But it's very interesting, though, because like a lot of things are being marked like that. They're actually they won't actually
beating us at chess.
You might not see a human contact until you get to maybe a third stage, where someone will actually go, oh, okay, and have a look at CVs. But stage 1 and 2,
before all that, there'll be a telephone interview as well. Usually,
But how do you judge character properly over a telephone interview?
Yeah, it's difficult.
It is difficult.
I know this. I'm gonna make it up.
Do you know this? I'm not sure there's a definitive answer.
Hear me out.
It's not a yes/no question.
Background noise. So, like, you know, if you hear like someone being strangled or like a dog yelling to be fed, that's alarm bells.
And it's common on a lot of telephone interviews.
If they're calling from like a library and people are telling them to be quiet, that's a bad judge of character. You should employ them.
What? Because they're in a librry?
Yeah.
Because they're
studying.
It's all, but they should be having a call in
None
the
of this stacks
library.
up. Okay.
I'm just saying, you've got to look beyond the obvious and go behind what the noise of their voices. And listen
I'm
to the
really sorry.
background.
I think there might be other reasons. Another ways.
There's other little telltale signs.
Library.
I think
So perhaps
that's very true.
than a dog being strangled.
Maybe that comes into it, like a part of it.
Oh yeah.
If it's quiet.
If, for example, you're on a telephone interview this candidate, and like someone behind is talking about fire, and like someone says, help, the building's on fire, because someone raised the
but you would just stop the telephone
You
you want to get out, we'll call you back.
Yeah, sure. You've got to be questioning why you're still talking.
Do you really want this job?
Stay on the phone now.
The emphasis is not on you. If they're not going to move, then they're obviously not thinking.
Right. So.
Or you can see it from another way, that they're really committed to this job and they really want it.
Yeah,
this has gone so
Well,
far
they might be
away
dead.
from where it is.
Exactly, but to bring us back on track after that
Don't do phone
tangent,
interviews.
don't do phone
Skype,
interviews.
that's better.
Skype.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
right.
another trend.
It
Now
is.
a lot of
Email, telephone, VC, face to face.
very true.
Because
So
you need to see
Best way
their
to come.
eyes.
eye contact is key, and also because I
See
mean
they're lying.
the cost of recruiting is actually a key problem for
For
companies.
businesses.
Companies. I mean, you can give me a stat. What's the ballpark figure for how much it costs to recruit a person?
On the spot.
So it depends whether you're hiring someone who's a kind of exec position or more low level.
Yeah.
But most big recruitment firms are probably going to be charging about 20% of the guy's first year salary. So you're going to be looking at. I think I was recruited by a recruitment firm for my job, and I think I cost them $5,000.
Yeah,
which is ridiculous.
That is which is crazy. So I mean, they're always
I got
looking.
picked up on the street.
Yeah, I know. So they're always looking for ways to kind of cut these costs down, and like doing things. If you're in UK and you're hiring someone in Asia to save on a flight, if you want to kind of screen a lot of people before you go over there, do it by Skype, have a VC chat with them.
I suppose the reason that all this is so important, of course, is because this is big money. Yeah?
Oh, it's huge money.
And I'm not talking about wage. I'm talking about the entire process of getting the right person for the right job, so they do a good job for a sustained period of time.
Yeah.
That all mounts up for we're a big company or a small company, and this is why we're talking about all these different ways to make sure people find the right place.
Job, yeah.
And it's why people like are existing to get people in the right place.
Exactly.
But
the one other thing as well, LinkedIn, we were saying, is useful to obviously finding jobs if you're searching or finding candidates. But the other thing it's useful for, and kind of started off, is the networking.
See what they look like.
The word I hate the most, but you always end up
Yeah, it's such a bad
the second most hated N word, networking. But everyone does it effectively, even if you think you're not doing it, you probably are. And
LinkedIn. I mean, LinkedIn has become a hub of networking, and you get your connections. And one thing that people.
That sounds so seedy.
And but one thing LinkedIn does have, which is like obviously Facebook will never have, is that it tells you who's viewed your profile.
It does, yeah.
Oh, really?
Which is quite funny because obviously you can see. A lot
of people are starting to use LinkedIn as dating as well.
We're not going to go that.
That'll be another podcast.
That'll be another podcast, mate. And Jules, this is not the time to reveal what you're using LinkedIn for.
Technology in Love, Part 2.
Part 2.
No, I'm just saying,
now it's personal.
I know this is not.
Well, now it's professional. Yeah, exactly.
I've seen a bowler hat of work professional, but I know I've had friends who've been contacted by men. Females, good-looking females, who are like, not even asking about. No, just saying. Hey, I really like your profile picture.
Who are these men? But yeah,
what I was going to say about LinkedIn as well.
Yeah,
I'm flipping from serious to God knows where I'm going. But it's a psychological thing with LinkedIn. This is what I think is really good. I mean, so traditional networking, you meet people, and then it might have in your head that you remember so much such and such works there. So they're a good person to approach. So it's all in your head. Whereas now LinkedIn with actual people, suddenly if you if you're looking for a job in a new area and you look at that person, or you find a contact and suddenly you view them or you contact them, and you happen to have a couple of people who are linked in with associates around there,
True.
approaching them suddenly becomes more easier. And equally, if you're an employer who's been approached and you see that someone who's may not be in the necessary field has like approached you, you're more likely to respond to them and give them a chance, because suddenly you've got this web of connection.
I mean, one thing LinkedIn is very good at is what we were talking about last week on our travel podcast is recommendations.
Yeah.
Because nowadays it's all about you're more likely you're more likely to hire for someone if you see someone you know has actually written a glowing recommendation. Because LinkedIn is like that, you know, you can get people and you can get a job kind of based on what your recommendations are. Who's endorsed you?
Yeah.
The endorsement sounds a bit strong, but that's essentially what's going on, and a lot of that.
Has that gone too far though? So I work for a recruitment firm. I don't actually recruit, so I work in finance. But one of the senior people at a company endorsed me for recruiting and staffing skills, of which I have very few. So you can just endorse. You know, a friend was recently out of a job and he's now looking for one, and he said, "Could I endorse him?" Which obviously I happily did. And he is a very good employee, but if then you're recommending friends, it's all very easy just to be like, he's brilliant.
And that's
it losing a little bit.
That's the dark side, because like, you know, it used to be that you could just write recommendations, but now you can actually recommend a skill set to someone.
Yeah.
So I could be like, Johan, you know,
acting,
serious acting. And, you know, I can then say that, and then suddenly that skill pops up on his profile. Now, Johan hasn't even endorsed that own skill himself, but I'm endorsing it for him, and it's showing up.
So people can speak for...
They can. I'm pretty sure it's kind of like that. That kind of endorsing can just go on. So I got endorsed for. To be fair, it was financial analysis, which I do a lot of, so, which is fine.
But he's not good at it.
I'm not good at it, so I don't know why I was endorsed for that.
Moving jobs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that is
just before they realise.
Maybe if someone endorses you, then you could sort of, you know, like you can sort of allow it. You can confirm it.
Yeah, maybe
that's on your profile. That way, you know, you can.
I think he does it.
I'm not sure.
I think he can, but maybe not. Maybe it is automatic.
Sure.
It's automatic.
Is it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah,
maybe that'd be like a feature that could be used. But
it's true. LinkedIn. Talk to this guy.
Up here.
He'll work for you. But that is the kind of the rundown of technology and employment. The second part was how it impacts your day-to-day job.
Yeah. What's our summary for tech and job hunting?
It's
made it easier, made it harder.
I think tech's it's like
bit of both.
It's the best. It's like there's now more than ever. There's more information if you're a recruiter or employer to get. So that's great. So suddenly you have access to
more
a pool of people than you can ever dream of,
or a pool of jobs.
Then and a pool of jobs. So it works both ways.
True.
But it's using the data smart, isn't it? There's just because there's a lot of data doesn't actually mean anything. So then we come back to the sort of human element of the skill here is using
judging character, as Luke said,
judging the right job and marrying them all up. So in short, put a bit of effort in.
Well summarised.
It's not going to happen itself, is it?
Well summarised until the slightly offensive conclusion.
Exactly. That's what you need to do. Get off the thing, get a job, get online, job board. Let's reduce unemployment.
Exactly.
Boom.
It's quite hostile.
So the other, like, how, you know, tech impacts your actual occupation is interesting. I mean, obviously, very interesting. I mean, like, in my occupation, I work quite a lot with tech anyway. So, but it's kind of the different sorts of tech that impacts your jobs, and of course, the thing with tech is that everything's automated. So while that makes things faster, it also means that you can make massive errors.
Yeah, it does.
And then make them a million times over in a short space of time. So it's quite interesting. No, of course not. I never make errors. Rarely. I don't know. Sometimes. But it's interesting. Like, what about everyone? What sort of tech are you using? Small business owners, you know? Like,
the design of the business, I think, was a huge one.
Really?
Planning the kitchen and
so Luke, you had to start everything from scratch.
It was a blank canvas, complete blank. In fact, it was an old fashion shop.
Oh.
But because obviously we needed to develop an old store covered into a kitchen. I mean, there's loads of aspects to it. You needed the technology initially to put these into place, and then to find the elements to make up the kitchen.
Yeah.
It's a huge one. So I mean, that's where
Google.
Obviously, believe on Google
or any
eBay,
other search
eBay.
engine.
Yeah,
eBay.
eBay.
eBay's not-
You
they
winced
don't-
there, didn't
no
you?
warranty. That's
No.
the only problem.
Luke tries to cut costs. he took
And
some
fails.
liberties.
You make the mistakes. You don't make them twice. Well, maybe. But yeah, no, initially it was the start.
All of his equipment has a warranty. It's safe. Visit him.
Visit him, very true.
Let's just finish that a minute.
Yeah.
Well, the initial design, I
Yeah.
think, was the main aspect where technology came into place. I mean, apart from the obvious social networking now that's involved.
True.
But it is very much, at the moment, it's word of mouth as well.
One,
Exactly.
as it's more commonly known. That's interesting. What about you, Jayhan? Obviously, you're all over social media, so I'll actually probably come back to you.
Let's go to Johan first. He needs a job.
Yeah. By this way, in case you're wondering, like, Ol's retopping his drinks. So.
Oh,
no!
We don't do brands. We don't do brands.
That
And we
was
also-
not what you thought it
And we
was.
also don't drink on the show.
There's one there. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable! You've ruined the act, Joe.
That's rude. That's rude.
But anyway, well, back to Johan.
So, unemployed student.
Yeah, not unemployed. Actually have a job.
Interesting student.
Terrible.
Obviously, because of the job market for you. Like, obviously, I imagine like the tools and stuff. What are students doing? Like, what are they to make themselves, more employed? What's going on in that?
Well, I mean, I've obviously, take advantage of the LinkedIn, the
True,
networking,
very true.
Social media sites. I mean, at the moment, Twitter, you can follow the new, your prospective sort of.
Yeah, true. Actually, you can follow their job boards, can't you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes,
Get some
follow
more
the-
information on them.
Yeah.
Get some up-to-date news, current sort of.
Roles and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty good.
But I'm not too much at the moment. It's summer.
When's Drive 2 coming out, mate?
It's called Driven. It'll be out in January 2014.
Excellent. I look forward to watching it. So obviously you're.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I always harp on about social, but I'm just thinking more from going like your aspects of like how tech work affects like what I do. Is a lot of our stuff is cloud based. So
True.
I mean, we the company I work for now, it's a digital technology company for marketing. But point is, we're often out with clients, or we're in different places working. So the whole idea of basically what we do is everything needs to be mobile. So everything is cloud based. So you could work from a cafe if you had to. You could work from home.
Mobility.
The point is, it's mobility. So all your documents will be stored in cloud, using different
tools.
platforms. They're just the professional versions of what we've got already. So the ones that we would all use in normal day life would be things like Dropbox. Use Google Calendars, Google Docs.
Google Suite.
Yeah, and just things like keeping time with clients. That's also done online.
Oh, that's quite clever.
Because there are lots of tools out there, sort of
time
clock in,
management.
clock out.
Yeah.
And all of that is just that's the thing I've noticed.
All the key kind of business tools are moving to online.
Yeah, they're online. And
that makes a lot of sense actually, because it reduces costs.
Exactly, because all we essentially need to run our business in a sense, a laptop.
And that's what you want to get to, or an iPad,
so it's a laptop,
or any other tablet,
and some Wi-Fi from the free cafe.
Exactly. Protect your Wi-Fi though.
Exactly.
Snoopers are around.
Sneaky snoopers.
Sneaky snoopers.
Going through your bins.
Exactly.
Digital bins.
Liking your Facebook photos. That's not on.
Finding people on LinkedIn to date.
Just you. What about you, Ol?
I was thinking about this a lot on my flight over.
Of course.
Hong Kong. But I was thinking wider context in terms of jobs that now exist, which just didn't. I was thinking, when our parents in the previous generation, but thinking about it even more in the last 3, 4, 5 years. So Jules's job probably didn't exist 5 years ago.
No, not at all. Well, yeah, you're completely right.
More
when
recent.
I got into community management, that was the old me.
Yeah.
That was completely.
That's brand new.
Just
no job spec, no whatever.
No, exactly. So I mean, and that's a really really good point, because it's meant that my career is anyone who's been fortunate enough to get into that line of work, or just generally sort of digital marketing and digital campaigns for brands or in-house or whatever, all of that is, if we got in 5 years ago, suddenly you are the front runners. You're the ones who've got a bank of knowledge that no one else has, and you've only been doing it 5 years. And it's you know, it's a good thing to be. But completely right. I mean,
there was I think today or yesterday there was some employment stats. So apparently employment in the UK now is back at 2008 levels, so kind of pre-downturn.
Britain,
but even so, that's a 5 year. It's a 5 year. It's a 5 year gap. So I'm imagining that the jobs then and the jobs now are going to be completely different. And particularly the jobs from like our parents' generation. To now going to be completely different because jobs are always being replaced as technology evolves, but they're being hopefully jobs are being made redundant and new jobs are
created. That's a very true point actually. The skill set changes.
A manufacturer might have a machine now, but someone has to look after it, design it, build it. So that's taken off people on a production line, but it's brought in new jobs, which are more tech-based.
The whole point we're talking about this is the fact that you've got all this information online because we're looking for jobs. We might be looking for new jobs. We're looking for different.
Some of us might not be looking for jobs at all. I'm very happy they're current employees.
True, but either way, the fact is that we'll see.
100%.
He's massively loyal. But, old John Bracey, my father.
True.
He's retiring this summer. I think that's news. That's fine. What is
with very little pension.
This man is he's I've had more jobs in my 3-4 years out of uni than he had in his entire life. He worked at the university. I think he was 18 or 19. The University of Bristol. Lifer,
yeah.
So he hasn't even had a CV.
But it's a different
generation. It's different generation. The old
any of us having a job for life anyway.
Never. And we're
talking.
No, exactly. And that generation did have jobs, especially over the 10-year mark. Like they'd at least stay at jobs for 10 years. 10 years now to like someone who's 20 in their 20s.
You're the CEO. 10 years into a job.
10 years into the job, you're the CEO of a failing company. You've ridden the wave. It's all the way down now.
You're right. You're riding that horse out.
That's quite a Japanese culture thing as well.
Very true.
They often have jobs for life. So you come in at
jobs,
they almost certain industries still will just they'll hire like en masse out of university, and that's it. And you'll basically just progress through pretty much purely based on age and experience. And even when you go into like meetings in Japan, I think where you sit around the table is completely dependent on your age and your experience.
Wow.
And it's just a pure seniority thing. It's changing a little bit, but that's still a really powerful part of the culture. And
but I mean, they say the new generation, Generation X,
Y.
Generation Y as well.
Gen Y.
Yeah, he's up to date. They say, I mean, if you get fired, then you got a day off. It's but no, like
what a great one. If you get
always
fired,
agree a 3-month
notice. A day off. So
always
that is a positive outlook.
You got the baby boomers. I mean, if they lose their jobs and it's the end of their life, it's the end of their work. Our generation would be a little bit upsetting, but Generation Y is like, great, nice, sweet. I've got like a 5-day weekend.
I'm going to see Driven.
Driven in January 2004.
So there you have it. It's kind of that generational difference.
But you touched on, I think, a couple of weeks ago as well, the sort of amount of youth unemployment. Well. Or I think maybe
in Europe,
in particular,
like Spain, over 40% of people between 18 and 25 are out of work, which is
mad.
Which is absolutely startling.
I was thinking about this as well. And is that partly because of maybe degrees that they've done, which are not necessarily particularly practical degrees or really relevant degrees? And when you've got a downturn like this, you only need really core skills. So, like the UK obviously is a really services technology economy. And things like manufacturing and engineering skills are maybe a little bit starting, or certainly way down where they used to be.
Yeah.
So in a way, I did economics, which is it's not really very relevant to any field, and you did philosophy, so.
Which is
relevant. I don't know how I've ended up.
Which is just relevant to everything.
I can think about it. I still haven't.
I kind of like to see, part of me thinks you will see less and less people going to university because the fees are so high. Unless you're doing a very practical job, I think things like apprenticeships and internships.
You've already got experience there. You've already got experience, and you've got
more sense.
A company straight away.
I think now
it's a big debate, though, isn't it?
I think that's another podcast.
Should everyone be going to university, or should people just be going if they really want to?
It's a Tom McCoot, exactly.
I'm not sure that means either.
Look it up. So there you have it, viewers. We've been outside, we've been inside, and now...
I love this
get ready, because we are buzzing with anticipation for this week's Hive 5-way. We've got a lot of stuff to discuss as well.
There are so many stings and so many tails.
Oh, I'm not as angry as I was last week, but there's still some
Where
good
you basically
time.
told someone to get fired, and you called the general public a moron.
Look, if you're going to diss Warren Gatland, you're going to feel the wrath. So let's just leave it at that. Stay tuned. Here comes the Hive, guys.
So, who are we toasting to?
George Alexander Lewis.
Who is?
Third in line.
Louis.
Guys, to the French. And the Scottish.
Well done.
Well done.
Congratulations.
Well done on being born.
Yeah,
well done, Kate.
And for all the other babies out there being born. Great.
Well played for you
well
too.
played.
Well played, mothers.
We can't promise your kid's going to get to go to Eton, but
if you manage to get there, you could be marrying a prince.
Exactly. So hey, someone's going to marry him, right?
So it's back again. And of course, this week's exciting Hive, and it's a great topic. It is all going to be about babies and porn.
That's what we're talking about.
Babies and pornography. Not linked together.
Not at all, because that's
very separate.
Very separate.
But
so
they're the two big news stories, of course, this week. It's been royal babies and David Cameron taking on porn.
The raw babies.
Are you watching it? I've been watching it.
The raw babies here. They've called him George because they ran out of names, and there's only 7 names that you can have if you're born to be like the king, and they've used all the other ones.
They did use 3 of them in there.
Exactly. So and they've now looped back to George.
And of course, social media. Everyone went crazy in this country.
Raw baby naming.
The only thing that they didn't do, because people were camping outside hospitals, they were tweeting about it. The only thing I didn't see, which I'm personally quite disappointed with, is a live webcam of the birth.
What?
I just don't understand why that didn't happen.
I think I know why it didn't happen.
I'm saying,
royalty just pushing a baby out isn't really...
They
could have played Push It real good.
24-hour coverage.
That would have sold millions.
24-hour coverage. That's what I want to see. I'm going to stand outside a hospital. I just want a live.
You want it streaming. I mean, the thing that I noticed.
Live webcam streaming. Brilliantly comes onto our next.
It is.
Sort it out.
It was pretty crazy because the only thing I could help were our Sky News, the fiends that they are.
Worst coverage.
were basically sitting outside the hospital waiting. And I was like, who are these people who have been waiting for 2 days?
Americans.
I'm like, go back to work.
Use Monster. Use LinkedIn.
Get on LinkedIn. Jesus. I'm not writing you a recommendation if I see you on telly.
Loitering. Recommended for loitering.
So everything went crazy. Jules is right. Twitter went mad. They were like, and of course there was the general...
Oh, but would it be called? Yeah, as well.
It wasn't one of the king names. There's only 8, so you've got 1 in 8 chance, basically. It wasn't going to be called Shard.
That would have been good.
It's not going to be called Luther.
Albert.
It's not going to be, there's a lot of names that weren't on there.
Royal baby Prince Albert.
Exactly. So, well done.
And of course, with the day the child was born, it was a big thunderstorm. So some people were saying,
Lucifer's been born. No one said that.
No, it's the Antichrist.
No, it's just like, there's some...
And babies born on the same day got their parents, it was about 500 or 1,000 or I don't know, some random amount, a little coin. Memorabilia coin worth 25 of our English pounds.
Wow. That's good budget spending, right there.
Exactly. Now, what a good use of money.
Exactly. It's not worth 25.
So I suppose that's the baby talk out of the way. Let's talk about porn.
So,
because sometimes you don't want to produce a child.
So
sometimes
this
you
is
want to produce some happiness on your own time.
So basically, we talked about we talked about Cameron last week. Basically,
Rich tea biscuit. Me and Ollie No, sorry.
Anyway, so we talked about Big Dave last week.
Big Dave.
And
He's become
bandwagon,
a
but he's basically jumping on Andy Murray's bandwagon.
Yeah.
Like the fiend that he is.
And now he's trying to jump on the
and now
Jeremy
he's
bandwagon.
basically trying to suck all the fun out of life. He's David Cameron.
He swallows.
David
he's
Cameron.
swallow a lot.
David Cameron has basically said, I'm gonna take on porn.
He's screwing us all.
Not as a career.
Not as a career, and he's not going to become a pornographic actor.
No more pacing.
So I know, or director, or any of
Or
those.
scriptwriter.
He's no, so
It's an easy job being a porn scriptwriter, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
basically-
we all know how it ends.
Exactly. It ends the same. And the only
Some of
Every
the
time.
more controversial directors don't.
So yeah,
They didn't go.
so just in short, I'll let.
a really existential ending. They just finish without a climax, and then the film ends, and everyone's just watching, going, "Whoa,
Wow,
that was pretty deep." And I'm
Millions of-
talking about
Millions of frustrated Americans around the world.
Exactly.
Porn, yeah.
In short, Cameron has basically said, which the thinking behind his thing is that there's some really depraved, parts of the internet, and obviously some really serious stuff like child pornography, rape, porn. Like that's not on at all. Like, I mean, he is saying that he doesn't want our children to be able to basically access that stuff on the internet, and rightly so, because
no one should have.
the right to access that. And he was like,
illegal.
he's cramping down on
Sick.
secured kind of child pornography databases, which is all this disgusting stuff, which is completely fine because that stuff does need to be eliminated. And now, I mean, I read a great article talking about what is basically the darkest corners of the internet that people don't see, but is there if you know how to get there.
Yeah.
And it's some really dark stuff. And
That's where Iran get a lot of their stuff.
So basically he said, right, I want to introduce these filters. So if you're signing up as a new broadband customer to any broadband service, you will get a choice to opt in if you want to have filters removed, but the default will be for filters to be enabled.
So basically, you've got to ring up Virgin Media or Sky or BT Internet and say, listen, I am a depraved, filthy animal and I want to look at pornography. And it's just, it's going to be embarrassing. I think first of all, right, I think the idea behind it is good. It's going to protect children.
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant, fantastic. But I do think the onus should be on families, parents, not necessarily on...
I think so. The internet service providers obviously they're gonna comply with Cameron. They're gonna introduce these filters, but
Definitely.
yeah, they will by the end of this year. I think so. A lot of them have already said yes to it. I think. I mean, I'm kind of with you, and I believe that the way they're going about it is quite. They do need to go in with like a heavy hand, being like, we're going to get rid of filters.
Beats.
But I just can't help think that they're making a lot, or kind of biting off more than you can chew.
Yeah.
Because
I saw that one. It was good.
he's opting in.
He's already opted in. He's actually sent letters to all of. He's actually sent letters to Richard Branson.
That's it himself,
just
saying
telling him that he's definitely
100%.
Why do you reckon I got his fibre optic broadband? I wasn't to watch Breaking Bad real quick.
So fast. But it's. I just think that they've bitten off more than they can chew, because what you're talking about isn't on the level of filters.
And like,
what you're talking
know.
about is an absolutely gargantuan task. And also, my thing is, like, as with anything that's banned, what will people do as a result of that being banned? What are the people going to do?
They're going to go to the darkest places of this country to go onto the darkest internet connections to see the darkest material. And
it's right. What are people? If you try and take this away from them, one thing we know about the human race is they will always circumvent whatever filter.
There's always going to be a way to go.
And I think it's not the way to look at it.
Life will find a way.
It's not the way to look at it, because that's not the point. The point is to put the filter down in the first place. But my worry is the behaviour that's going to result as a result of the filter. A kid's going to be better off, maybe. But
I mean, obviously this government and general governments are like, it's all about good marriages and nuclear family, especially the Conservatives. Now, they haven't really thought this through, because obviously when you reach a point in a successful marriage, I guess.
Yeah.
But you obviously you've been with a person for a while.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're busy. And sometimes you may not be completely true. No, I'm just
where's-
saying that.
where's this going?
That both. No, I'm just saying that both.
Cover the mic's
I'm
ears.
saying that both parents, consenting adults, need something to pleasure themselves with, and like sometimes that's porn.
Yeah.
And like if
I
they
didn't know
opted
this was going
out,
to be the
if they-
podcast. I was promised jobs and employment.
Listen, if they've opted out for their children's benefit. And they're getting pent up because they can't access some cool material, legal material,
Yeah.
just to get them.
I don't think that's going to be the biggest issue.
Well, I'd say that's definitely contributing.
We'll see, won't we? We'll see. If the divorce rates go up,
Exactly.
we'll know that Jules is right.
Yeah,
That's what-
yeah.
So what you're saying is this might mean that because they can't
Children
get it on the
might get beaten
internet,
up.
Blockbuster will return selling pornographic DVDs.
Quality.
Yeah,
That's one upside.
and all we know is that the
Bluey yellow line.
the download of illegal material is going to really shoot up before these filters go. There's a lot of hard drives being bought right
Yeah.
now.
The thing which I think either one of you might have put on Facebook or Twitter or any other social media website is like, how do you define that? Like, what is pornographic and what's not? So a portrait
That's
with a
actually-
woman's
It's
naked
gonna be
breast
very
on.
hard.
It's going to be very
Pornographic
hard.
Very hard.
And
then as well as
Sometimes double
imagery.
penetration is as a word. Sometimes
But
it's
this
essential.
is what's it. The person who wrote the article about this, which one of you? No, but he's right. They mentioned it. He was
I'm
saying,
right.
"How do you do it?" And his argument was, "How do you do it?" And he said, "You know, you just exclude all websites which have the word double penetration in there." Well, no, because now his article on a respectable website would be screened.
very true.
So how do you do
How
it?
do
It's
you-
contextual.
That's
It's all
actually a very
contextual.
good point.
Which
The
makes it
actual
manual.
and they will
The main
they'll-
key websites which people know about
because one thing
Like
you know
RedTube or Pornhub.
or any other.
already
or any other top-notch
top-notch adult website.
apart from that.
But it's very.
How?
Ol makes a very good point. This is a huge, from a technology point of view, this is a gargantuan effort to basically mash and go.
It's manual.
It's manual because essentially you've got to have a catch-all. Like, well, we're actually just going to block everything. Well, that's not going to work
There's also
because
So
that will actually start frustrating people because there'll be stuff they need to use that's
and
legit,
marriages will break up and
And
children
they-
be beaten because people aren't relaxed.
and it's just
You're
not.
so pro porn, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'm just
So
saying.
pro porn. Like, you are the voice of a generation.
I'm just saying that people need to express themselves in a lot of ways, and you know this is one of the.
Of course, you might know there's some stat like of all the information that's on the internet,
Yeah.
it's something ridiculous. Like 90% of it's been created in the last 4 years or
4
5 years. It's something crazy like that.
Yeah.
So as long as you're trying to exclude everything as much as you can, and it might be a manual effort to find all the new things. The amount that's coming on,
Yeah. Yeah, it's very good. Like how
Not
you
deliberate.
how
That's
how do you define
Take it on
that
the
stuff
chin.
that's coming in and how it's the scope is going. But you know, it's made it's
Great
done
idea.
for the right reasons. It's done.
Yeah.
But I just think again, Cameron's trying to kind of like divert attention away from other stuff going on. And you know, this is a key great issue. You know, like there
Why
are some
not
really bad
arrest-
things.
Arrest more child pornographers. Families look after their kids' own internet access. Maybe invest more money in policing child pornography and other
parental
forms
control,
Controls.
things like that. You know, it could be.
Yeah,
you
and
know.
I think
And you're
that's
right, and like you know, and that all sounds reasonable. And obviously, if there's a way to tag real bad content, so if, you know you're searching for it, it flags up.
Yeah.
People can watch you.
And that-
Again, we should get that.
we should
on board.
get. Yeah, that's true. But
But
I
I
just,
can't help but think, David Cameron's prematurely shot his wad on a lot of policy that he can't
he
finish.
can't finish. And
Again.
How many can we get?
and that isn't even a fun either. But you know, and that's the Hive, and that's what we've been talking about this week.
Yeah.
But
Should we leave it
in
to
short,
our guests to say good night?
yeah, and we will. But just one thing, we're opting in. So
I think they didn't. They probably got that.
is that with your opting T-shirt?
It's my
It's-
orange.
it's like Superman, isn't it?
So there you have it, viewers. It's been crazy. We've been outside, we've been inside, and here we are finishing this lovely podcast. It's been a pleasure to have these lovely people.
Guys, you got any concluding remarks you just want to say? So you can use this as a promotion for your own work.
Maybe the first part.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go back quickly and say that it's going to create more jobs, tying in with the Hive and the thing. It's going to create more jobs, this filtering system, anyway. On the plus side.
Might be right.
In China, I've got to stress.
Oh!
In China, well,
That's one thing. That's
I'm not even doing
we
it.
almost forgot.
Things
The
that Chinese
actual
know that we watch.
filter is
Do
being
I?
built by a Chinese company.
Is
now,
it with the Chinese military or like?
Well, we don't know, but of course, the last Chinese manufacturer, Hawaii, has been banned in so many countries because essentially all their technology is just spying on America. So they quickly realised that they couldn't trust them. So good old DC has signed up our lives with a Chinese manufacturer.
And also,
I don't see any way this could possibly end badly.
And as it's China's world, and we're going to be going to them for jobs pretty soon, and they're going to see our service. And I'll tell you what, I better learn to do some manual labour. I ain't getting the kind of jobs I need.
So yeah,
maybe
a street near you.
The Chinese will have another one up on us. So another reason to opt in. There you go.
In short,
Hashtag opt-ins.
In short, go to Mumbles. What, and if you're in Mumbles,
Yeah, if you go to
where? Name of
Try on Newton Road in Mumbles in Swansea.
nice.
be there.
When this guy finishes, let's give him a job. Johan, why should they give you a job?
I'm just super. And I look beautiful, I don't know.
Brilliant.
Exactly.
Oh, Hong Kong, we're going to miss you.
Yeah.
Gonna miss you.
How is Hong
another
Kong?
episode? Can we do a international episode?
Hopefully, we
maybe,
could, do a Skype one.
We always want a first for the good time.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
100%.
So yeah, well, that's good to have you here. And
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Yeah,
Thank you for
no problem. It's been a pleasure to have you on. And
once again, we solved a lot of problems.
once again, we've talked through.
Thank
in the world.
Thank us later.
I feel pretty good.
Thank us later.
We feel pretty good.
I'm going to go to my room for 5 minutes. If that's okay.
Get it while you can.
He's job hunting.
Exactly. He's just going on LinkedIn. It's fine. He's going to write a recommendation actually.
He's asking someone out.
Yeah. He's sending some flirty recommendations to people. It's been a pleasure doing this.
For analysis.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to do this, viewers. And we've now surpassed our episode total of season 3. So, which is definitely, we'll give ourselves a round of applause for that.
Seasons of a movie.
Exactly. 8 seasons and a musical. 3D.
We should do a musical.
We could do a musical.
We could. But it's been a pleasure. So we'll see you next time. And enjoy your lovely weekends. Goodbye.
Unless you're watching this on Friday.
Exactly.